You're listening to Open for Discussion, where, man, y'all probably shouldn't have said that. It tends to happen. Let's start the show.
715 East Music Group.
Welcome to Open for Discussion, where any and everything is on the table to be discussed. I'm your host, Albert, and we got the wives in the building once again. And of course, we couldn't go by without doing a show about marriage. I got my lovely wife, Adrian, with me.
Hey, y'all.
I got my boy, Diddy Roll. What it is today?
All right, then.
Okay, that's all right. That's normal. That's what we understood. Okay. All right.
We was taking it around the world.
Can't never get far from home, though, boy.
Can't never get far.
Got the lovely Merlot.
Hey, y'all.
Queen of the South.
That's not gonna stick, man.
You don't know Nan.
Oh my God. G-Dub.
All right.
And the one and only Miss Sabrina.
Hey.
Well, like I said, I couldn't have the wives in the building and not talk about some marital subjects at all. Now, I'm gonna pop off. We getting straight into it because we don't want to waste no time because everybody's always got something to do, whether it's nothing or something.
Okay.
It is what it is. If I want to do nothing, I'm gonna do nothing. But either way, my question now is, with all of the equality movements and things going on, you know, as far as women's rights and women's choice and women. Now,
Bro, you sound like you kind of against this
I
women's
know.
movement.
I have a very strong
A little bit. You heard that tone? You heard that right. You heard that tone?
No tone, man. No tone.
A little in the women.
I'm just saying, I didn't have anything else. The women's movement and the women's choice, and I got stuck. That's basically what happened. So like I said, women.
Clean it up.
Yeah, that's right.
Backtrack.
You better fix it.
My question is, do y'all think that it's okay for women to propose nowadays? Because it's been happening.
Hey man, it's their choice. I mean, but you just gotta deal with, the decision that God gonna make. So you could get embarrassed. You may not.
Nah, man.
So I mean,
it's
it's up to the female, and then each female has their preference.
Would you?
Me personally, not. I prefer the guy to propose to me. That's just my preference. Some women are bold like that. It's just like, I'm going to propose to my man. Well, you go ahead and do so. I'm just going to wait over here, okay? But that's just me.
I agree. Like, ultimately, the girl could do whatever. But me, I'm like traditional. Like, no, I want him to propose to me. Because if I'm going to do proposing, then I'm going to have to keep doing stuff like that. No, he needs to keep chasing me throughout the marriage,
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Chase your girl.
No. When Brian is your main supporter,
Bro, what do they want you chasing another woman? All this man said is he'll chase his wife.
no, bro,
I respect that.
Any of this guy.
Bro, I get it, bro. Listen, don't even worry about these cats, bro.
I agree with Sabrina and Kim. I'm not proposing. You can do if you want to, but I'm traditional.
Yeah.
So you think it's okay for women to propose?
It's
nowadays?
okay if they want to.
It's okay to do whatever you want.
Yeah, your choice.
But don't put your decision on me. I ain't proposing to no dude.
Exactly.
Dude mother propose to me.
Exactly.
Okay. That's just my standard.
I think so. I mean, that's a major decision. So if he's not if he's not prepared for it, if he's not prepared to propose, then he's not going to be prepared to do anything.
Hello.
Dang it!
I'm just being real.
He just don't like making commitment decisions.
No. If the woman has to step up and propose,
That you have to step
what
up
she's
the whole
just
marriage.
trying to. No, I'm not with that. Not at all.
Then you might end up with a sorry person.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Because then, it depends. Okay, so
Or you may not.
So then you might have a weak guy.
Ooh.
So he doesn't propose, she does. So he just says yes because he don't know what else to do.
Ooh.
That's not a good decision then. He's just saying yes because he's not strong enough to say no. Then she's got to deal with that for the rest of her life. And then she's going to say, well, I thought you said yeah. No, he wasn't ready. So take your time, make sure he knows, you know, and let him step up to the plate and come to you. That's me.
And then, I mean, in Taylor's Bible says a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. However, if the female gonna find the guy, then she gonna have to keep finding him for the rest of her
You better
life.
find me.
I prefer to be found, but
Well, maybe they find you and then you propose. You know?
Yeah, I think so. Are we getting into like? So are we getting into like? Do you all think naturally there's an innate thing about a man that needs to do that? You know what I'm saying? That needs to come to that decision,
Yeah,
or
it's
could
very-
it be
it's
they
very
mutually?
sexist of all y'all ladies to understand what a man
Because I'm
has
saying,
to do.
I don't think it's sexist. I think
They
it's
all said choice.
it's not sexist. It's just our preference.
yeah. Because do you think they could be mutually in a relationship, right? And they both
she's
have their feelings, but
naturally-
she just jumped first and like, let's
she's
do it. And he's
naturally
like,
the decision maker.
yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, let's do it. Do you think,
No.
or do you think it's automatic because
Like,
he didn't do it
Adrian
first?
said, if he ain't come out with it, that mean he ain't ready.
Right. I mean, because as women, we're looking for leaders. We're looking for somebody to be the head, somebody to make the decision.
Hello.
And if you can't make that first
That is a-
decision,
But in
it's
this
a major
first
life
society, can a woman lead?
Yeah, very much so. We do, regardless.
They said,
But what
you know,
what it says in the Bible with the man over the house.
No,
Wait
I
a
keep the
minute.
Bible. I know what I stand.
Wait a minute.
I'm just.
So we talking about something we lead regardless.
We do. I mean, the thing, but no, that's true.
going over there.
That's all I heard. That's all I heard.
That's true. We look to you all
That's
to
all I
be the
heard.
strong point, the head. We look to you to be that strength, right? But in truth, that leadership aspect, as far as getting things done, is there with the woman.
Okay.
But we want to know that.
Traditionally, you want to know, right? Because basically, all of our and like I said, from a traditional standpoint, I get it, right? But if we're having this conversation about tradition versus breaking tradition, then traditionally, men, they're the head of the household, priest of the home, et cetera, but for the sake of argument, can a woman play that role in today's society?
Well, I think they answered it by just saying it's okay. The person can. It's a choice. Like this is what their preferences are, and it just so happens that their preferences are the same thing. But a person,
right. So, but
okay,
to that point, but now they're starting to get into what the
this is
guy.
what I want.
They're automatically thinking that the man, now he can't make decisions. He's not gonna want to be in it. But is that the default? The default doesn't have to be he can't make decisions. Maybe she's just the leader of that relationship.
I think as my wife always says,
I mean, as long as the female is fine with being the leader in the relationship for the rest of their life.
Yes.
Well, we see who's the leader in this household.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, she's setting the tone.
I'm just saying. It's
she's
just.
still good.
My wife said they're gonna lead regardless.
Well,
to or not.
hey, y'all the head and we the neck. The neck gotta tell the head where to go.
Okay.
All right, babe.
Clean us out.
I think in any relationship, it becomes to each their own. Like what you want. If you believe that your relationship can operate like that, and that's what you enjoy, and that's what you like, hey, more power to you. The way our preferences are and the way that we operate is completely different. I would have never. If Sabrina would have got down on one knee and proposed to me, I would have told her to get up. It would
That would
have
have never happened.
Of course,
I'll
but
lead a girl. I'm
Straight up.
disrespecting me. You gonna disrespect my manhood?
I'm putting that on record.
It's over.
That would have never happened.
Divorce?
Yeah.
Break up right
Oh
there.
yeah. Get your behind up. It's over. Take an Uber home. Get out of here.
but yeah.
Basically, you don't think I'm a man. So
Yeah.
this relationship has to end today.
Yeah,
seriously.
because and honestly, what it comes down to is like it's alignment. Like if we're not aligned on like what I'm supposed to do versus what you're supposed to be doing, not saying that my role needs to be. These are my defined roles, and here are your defined roes. You do your job, I do my job. We good, but if we're not aligned on that, then clearly we're not going far.
Yeah, you gonna disrespect me in front of all these people?
Like I will feel disrespectful. We had her get together. She got down on her knee. Like, what? You tying your shoe? What you doing? Oh, you need to take a break? What are you doing right here?
Yeah.
You doing the Tebow?
Bro, I don't know where the evolution of proposals came from. I didn't look that up, but we know
masculination of men.
historically arranged marriages were the norm.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a proposal in an arranged marriage. So what we're talking about really is tradition, comfort, culture, and how people operate. So with that being said, it really is. It's a person's decision. You know, especially the ladies, whether she wants to or not. I don't cast any judgment on them if they do. I got 2 daughters, and I hope that I set a standard before them to where they have an expectation of a role of a man, and they'll see that modeled in me. And so if my daughters ever feel the need to have to propose to a man, I hope they'll realize that this ain't the guy.
Yeah.
And again,
And to answer, so I was playing the
Devil's advocate.
devil's
you're right.
advocate.
Yeah.
But to answer that, as far as something being innate in a man, I think there is. I think naturally, you know, men, there's certain instincts that men have. And I think a woman doing that robs them of that instinct to lead, because it's natural. I think it's God's design.
Emasculates them.
Yeah, so it's God's design for a man to operate in a certain role, like by default. Yes, a woman can operate in that role, but that was a man that was given to man as an assignment. So, you know, you can't, okay, you know, this assignment isn't yours anymore. No. So I think, you know, when you start to play around with natural assignment and, you know, you get into, you know, what's the word? You get into
Divorce.
yeah. Well, you get into unforeseen, you know, territory. You don't know what you're making up something, you know. So that's my thoughts on it. But like I said, you know, Uber.
Yeah, when I think about it, I'm just trying to figure out what reasons would a woman propose? Why would
For her own reasons.
no? But what would bring her to that place where she feels that she has to propose? And I might be wrong, but the only thing that I can think of is, for me, I'm thinking about me. Impatience.
No.
Maybe I think I'm ready and I'm so in love that I think that I need to do it.
I know one. She said no in the past.
She said though.
So she doesn't want to lose the person that she's with.
Right. She said no
But she
several
said
times.
no to a
So
question
he
that
asked
she was
her?
asked.
She asked her. And you know they've been in. He's still stuck with her, and she's like, "I need time. I
So
need time."
she
And then
said
she
no,
just
and they continued in
his
a
fault.
relationship.
Yeah.
That's
No,
his
that's
fault.
not going to happen. First of all,
no.
you
But I'm
say
saying now
no.
she's like, you know,
he just might not have been ready at that moment. And to me, that's an honest response. Like,
No, if
No.
you say-
No,
if
he asked her, and she said no.
no.
Right?
I'm out.
And she said no, but he stayed with
yeah,
her.
he might have respected that. Okay,
Right? And he
I
respected
don't
her.
respect that.
But then
I mean-
she's like, you know what? I love this dude.
talking
And then
about?
now she's like, boom, I'm proposing to you because you already did it, right?
That's a rare case.
Yeah, that's different.
Most of the time, the guy is
Very
out.
rare.
but it's still
That
it's
is a rare
possibility.
That is a
That's scenario
possibility.
That would make
I
sense,
agree.
right?
That makes sense.
Because he's already done it, right?
That's
so
stupid.
Right.
traditionally, he's
But
still trying to operate in that role.
In cases where there has not been a prior proposal and a woman
Maybe he in a coma. That's the only way.
I can't say yes.
Gotta be.
The only way I see it. Being impatient.
Emotions are strong, man. We can't minimize how emotions can make a person make decisions. Actually, I mean, we know how pain makes us feel, or the things that pain makes us do.
Rejection, bro.
And when I'm talking about physical pain will make me go to a hospital with no insurance and know I'm gonna have to pay this $50,000 bill.
course,
and don't
yeah.
care at the moment. So love or the feeling of love is a similar emotion. So if this person feels so enamored and then they really have this feeling or this belief that this is the person for them, and they are anti-traditionalists, they can say, there's nothing wrong with me wanting to ask this person if they want to share the rest of their lives with me, if we want to be married. And I think that's a possibility. I think it's easy to look from an outside perspective, but emotions are real. And I think that's just a possible scenario. That person could really be like, yo, I really dig this dude. And you know what? I think now's the time. Why not? And so I think that's a possibility.
Traditions, you know.
And I think usually with the scenario like that, they both would feel the same way. They should, because enough time has been spent for it to be that. So that's why when I think about it, I'm like, okay, you're just acting hastily. You're not being patient. You're not allowing the relationship
To
go.
develop,
I mean,
right?
because if you've been together for too long, you should have been gone anyway. If there hasn't been a proposal,
So see, that's your standard, and that's why I say I think we got to be open to how everyone else could be. You
Yeah,
know,
and
I try not to impose what I believe on anybody else, or even my assumptions. So that's why I'd say I don't disagree with what you're saying. Typically, there is like a mutual feeling between two people that you would assume that they would be in the same place, but hey, man, things,
sometimes not.
Yeah, and we're also viewing it from our culture, right? So there's other cultures where there's certain protocols for marriage, right? There's arranged marriages, right? So let's take a scenario where the female, because of her culture, she can't, like she has to go through an arranged marriage, but now she's in love with a guy. So now he knows her tradition. He knows her parents. Her parents might be very, forceful in her life where they kind of control her decision making. Well, now she's like, you know what? I'm just tired of them controlling my life. She comes to the dude and she's like, I know all my standards. I know I've been telling you I couldn't marry you because of XYZ. Boom, I propose right now because of this situation. You couldn't propose to me because you trying to respect my parents.
Right.
He talking about Aladdin.
Yeah, so look. Okay.
I'm thinking about like where this happened before. Right. That's all I can
So
envision when you were saying that. That's all I can.
Hey, listen, man, I'm coaching. You know what I'm saying? Disney took me around the world. You know what I mean?
Just let
See
these
what I mean?
people.
So when you get outside of your culture, you can start to
get the
see different
point.
scenarios.
Yeah, but I mean,
Goodness
there could be 1,001 scenarios for people to make their own decisions. I mean, when people make their decisions, you may see that like, oh, I don't think that's a smart decision, but they may be thinking this is the smartest decision I can ever make because he was going to go someplace else, and where you may see that, well, he ain't never going to be good to you. Based on her background and how she was brought up, this is the way that you get your husband, so to speak. So I think it's very, and I've said this recently before, like we have to be careful to measure like intent to why people are doing what they're doing, because it's like we never really know like what the scenario is. Personally, like our preferences, those are our preferences. But if someone doesn't choose our preference, doesn't mean that they're like, wrong or like,
and it's based on prior experience.
Exactly.
What they went through
so,
before.
As we said, I don't think anybody in here would support any one of our wives or any of our daughters or nieces and nieces doing something like this. But hey, I want us to kind of like what Brian alluded to in the last show, not being as believers, not being hypocritical and looking at people and be like, what are you doing? Don't you know that this is supposed to happen this way? It's like, we got to still love these people, because if they got married and their marriage is successful and the woman proposed, and it's kind of like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess the man doesn't really have to propose. So those are just my thoughts.
Cool. Now, my next question for you is prenup a dirty word?
Nope.
And if so, please back it up.
My wife
I
said
say
no.
no.
I said yes.
I say no.
Boy, she needs some coffee.
No, I say no because once again it all depends on a situation
You're right.
or a type of thing. Because say you have a person who was a #1 seller book author and I made millions before I even met my husband, and you think I'm gonna give him all that I made before we get into this marriage? No, you gonna sign a prenup, because if you decide to go crazy, you ain't taking all my stuff.
But isn't that
So-
wasn't your husband your intelligent choice?
Yes, but wisdom tells me wisdom tells me that he wasn't there when I was writing my book. Wisdom tells me that he wasn't there when I was doing my book tour. Wisdom doesn't tell me that he was there during that process. He came after the process. So he could have married me when I was successful and be like, oh my gosh, she's successful. I wanted a wife who was successful. Okay. And
But
if
you
decide to lose-
chose to marry him.
that don't mean I'm gonna share all my assets with
But
you.
you chose.
Girl, you just cussed.
We are believers, right?
I think the decision of marriage needs to be properly validated. If you want a prenup, you want a prenup. Make sure y'all in agreement about whatever it is that y'all gonna do. So my wife said prenup is not a dirty word as long as there's agreement. But the context in here is like, if we're gonna go into marriage and I'm gonna make a decision, because celebrities do this all the time, and we see the evidence of this where they treat marriages like relationships. So you come in, they signed up their prenup, you together for like a year and a half, and then we leave because of irreconcilable differences. When you marry, that's for life, right? And if you're not in it for life, don't marry yet. So the concept for me of prenup is like, look, let's make sure we properly validate each other so that you know I'm not here for your money. Don't get me wrong. I understand that you want to protect your downside, but that's hedging your bets. Why aren't we hedging bets against in marriage? Like this is in sickness and in health. We're going the full 120 years together. Like there is no discussion before I go into this marriage. Now, if you're looking at this marriage like, oh, this person could possibly lose his mind, do not marry that person.
Okay.
Ever.
So
But I'm still not gonna give you access. I'm not access. You still gonna have access to have our own. But if we decide that this is not gonna work, you just not gonna take everything that I worked hard for because we don't see eye to eye.
And then here's another perspective too. So you're looking at it from a spiritual perspective. A lot of times people are getting married and it's contractual, right? It's a contract. Let's like, we're getting married. We legally go and we make this, a legal binding thing, right? So, okay, that's just a clause in the contract. It's like, okay, because they're not saying, they might say the vows, but really some people aren't morally driven that way.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about. Like I'm giving my personal experience on how I see marriage. It's not going to be like if another person wants to do it, I said it before, to each your own. And that's how you see marriage. Like this could go good, this could go bad. Cool. That's you. I'm not looking at marriage like this could go bad. There is never an option where I'm thinking,
okay, you can lose your mind.
I have a question. So I have a question for
dime.
you. So I have a question for you. So say London grows up, she becomes a gold medal Olympic winner before she even meets her husband. Mm-hmm. A guy comes in, she's like, "Daddy, I think we're ready. We decide to get married." So what do you consider? Do you want her to decide? Do you want her to have a prenup in that marriage?
I'm gonna say, baby, don't get married if you're not ready. Do not even think that this is my husband if you're not ready to say everything that I give to you.
No, you can never be ready enough.
Well, you can never be ready.
Just like when you get married, like you don't plan for
and mommy gonna tell
you don't plan for a spouse to die, but y'all get life insurance. You're prepared. You get your health, your life. We gonna get this prenup. Just like Candy's situation. Candy was worth like $20 million before she married her husband. Like I think that was a wise decision for her to get a prenup before.
So here's the thing, right? Like making that decision.
He was only even worth 6 figures.
Only 6 figers.
20 million. 6 figures.
I guess when you put it in that context,
20 million, 6 figures. That's a
making that context, and this is just again from the way that I see marriage as a whole, right? You not believing that. And this is before, like, we need to sort this stuff out before we get married. You making me sign a prenup lets me know that in the back of my mind. Yes, babe.
I'm sorry, but then when it comes to basketball players and they get married, they sign prenups.
Babe, I'm not.
And for their wives that come
talking
into
about his beliefs.
Babe, I'm talking about me. Like he asked, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with LeBron James getting a prenup if he got a prenup. I do not agree. Because I believe before you get married, your choice has to be, you know what?
Well, I know that. She was with him before.
I think.
I'm just saying in general.
But I truly believe that it needs to be like, hey, there has to be this level of trust here that in the back of my mind, as the person who didn't get the prenup, I'm not thinking that you're thinking I'm always on the outskirts. Because what happens is a lot of time with prenups, that the other spouse holds that over the spouse who's not worth. So Mr. Six Figures, you get that held over your head. Like, look, don't lose your mind because I kick you out because I'm worth $20 million, you worth 100,000, and that demoralizes, like, especially for men. Like if it's your woman that got the $20 million, you're already in a position where you're just trying to be the man that she wants to be in the marriage, and now you got to try to compete with her money. Right? Well, she knows I got all of this before you, so I don't need you. Why do you bring that into like a marriage relationship as a place for those thoughts to come in and contention to build? And we all have these situations in those arguments in our marriage where we bring up something we probably shouldn't have brought up, but we just did it just because we were a little bit spiteful in the moment. Imagine talking to someone and be like, "Look, bro, you only worth 100,000."
So my question is, so you just stay with the person and just keep fornicating? Because you don't want to marry him?
No, babe.
No.
You don't fornicate. Basically,
you avoid all this. Let's just not get married.
you don't
is what you're saying.
fornicate, and you continue to work the premarital counseling process in the eyesight of God. Hold yourself until you can get to a point where you both have complete trust in the Lord, and then you both have complete trust that this is going to all work out for your good. If you don't have that, don't get married.
So that's a believer, right? But what are people in the world?
People, they can do whatever they want to do. That's Al's question was, is prenup a dirty word? So it's got to come from my opinion.
So for you, it's a dirty word?
Not a dirty word, but it's something that...
It's a dirty word.
It's a dirty word to you.
No,
dirty word,
it's something
Because
that
you're
I
coming,
would not...
Well,
you're coming from
I'm-
the believer perspective.
I'm gonna cut in.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
You
cut.
gotta
I'm
jump in.
cut. Okay. I'm gonna say I somewhat agree with Wayne. I'm just gonna say it in a different way, because when I think about life and I think about love, so great. God blessed me to be fortunate enough to make good money, and I'm able to do that before I find a spouse. However, I'm not looking for a spouse to see if it's someone that's just gonna come in and try to take my money. That's not my focus.
Right.
So when I find a person and we find each other, it's not necessarily all about what I have, what I've already been blessed with, because I'm actually supposed to be looking for someone to share that with. I'm not looking for someone that, oh, you just coming in here because you see that I have money. No, we have to be in agreement and on one accord. Granted, maybe the person that I find, maybe they weren't as successful. I can be that person to help them get to where they need to go. We'd be successful together. But if I come in with this mindset that I'm so much bigger than you, that I have all of this money and I've been so successful before you, you just haven't had your chance, or you haven't had the opportunities that I had, I get you under this prenup. Now, my thought process is, okay, so you think that this might not work out. That's the only reason why you put in a prenup. You put in a prenup for the possibilities of, if it doesn't work, I still get to take all my stuff back, or I don't have to split my things with you. But if I'm looking at it from the stance of, I love you, I give you my all, we're doing this together, we can do life together. There are some people that fall in love with people who never have to get a job. What if it was the opposite? What if it were me that ran into an amazing man who, say Al.
Thank you.
Let's just say. Let's just say.
Use the example you got next to you now.
Let's use the track that he was on, right? He was in college. Let's say he made it to the NFL. Let's say we didn't actually meet until after he was drafted. Instantaneously, because of the gift that he had, he's into money. I'm not. That doesn't make me less of a person. That doesn't make me less of anything that I would have been if I met him before. It's just that our paths did not cross until then. But he just signed where he's got years and he's making millions. So now he wants me to sign a prenup?
I think
Yeah.
it's all in
it also-
intention. Like, I see it on the other end too, like whether it's the male or the female who has the money. Even so, like for the other person to be like, you know, just so you are aware, like me, I'm always like conscious of what like the other person, like, you know, is feeling. Like, I will want you to feel comfortable, like I'm not here for the money. So I will sign this prenup, like just to let you know, like, you know, if forever, you know, whatever reason you lose your mind, I lose my mind. Like, I'm not here for the money, so I can sign a prenup. You know, I think it's all about like the intentions.
Would you feel? How would you feel? I'm sorry to cut you off, Sabrina, but would you feel disrespected if your fiance came up to you and said, "Can you sign this prenup?"
I think, like I said, it's all about like the intentions and like what the relationship is. Like, if we like really like,
I'm
you
just
know,
saying, like pure, like you love each other. Everything's been great. Y'all haven't talked about it, but as y'all become engaged, he says, or she says, "Hey, can you sign this? I just want to make sure that we're both covered. It's not because I think that we're gonna, you know."
How do you have that conversation?
That's what I'm saying.
And you know what?
I mean,
So look,
wait.
just like we need to have the conversation.
No, wait.
Like when you do your
So-
wills and everything.
But,
Like,
but
no.
A prenup is a little bit different, because a prenup means that if I leave you,
Yes.
right? If I decide to leave you, you out of gas.
not necessarily. You
Not
have
necessarily.
you.
No,
it's
but-
it's whatever, like whatever the agreement is.
that-
like
but-
you can either walk away with nothing, or like you get this much or such
But
and such.
that's what they're saying. So if a person, I'm the one with money, and I say, look, babe, look, I love you, but look, if I want you to sign this prenup, and in this prenup, I have a clause that says, at the end of the day, I walk away with my money, because prenups are meant to protect the person with money. So it's not going to be the person that doesn't have any money doesn't really get much protection in prenups. You might get a little stipend here and there. I'll give you a little something because we married, but now all of the risk is on the person with no money.
So I have a question here. So you have somebody who was successful and they got married before, and the last spouse took half of what they own. So then I meet somebody that we're in agreement, we're in a loving relationship, and I think this is gonna work. So you think I'm not gonna do a prenup now?
You're gonna definitely suggest a prenup.
Exactly,
but it's on the other person to agree.
Exactly, but you're saying that it's based off why can't we just get married because we both love each other, so it shouldn't matter because that's what we agreed upon,
Well,
and
that's going to be up to the other person to recognize. Just like anyone who has any type of baggage coming into a relationship, when you go into a relationship with that person, you noticeably take on that baggage. You know that this person went through this, and you're willingly walking in. If a person got burned before, you need to know before walking into this thing that if the person asks you for a prenup, I just got to deal with it because that's what she went through before. And if I love her enough, I will say yes.
And then also in the case where you have someone who is successful or just whatever they do, and then I have kids before you even came into the picture, I could be set where my money is set for these kids, and if this don't work between us, you decide to go out the picture, the money ain't going to you because I said it for it to be for my kids.
And that's another scenario
that's a whole other scenario. So my thing is, it all depends. It all depends because you can't just say prenup as a whole. It's just a dirty word. No, because it depends on the situation. It depends on the agreement. It depends on a lot of things.
Are y'all talking about a prenup right now? Because y'all just...
Let me tell y'all an interesting thing. Before me and Clee got married, right? This was in, 2009? You know who told him to get a prenup?
His dad.
Yes.
Look at this.
But no. But
my thing is, we ain't get no prenup. We start off with nothing. Just to make that clear. Just to make that clear for anyone who knows, Wayne and I do not have a prenup.
But no. But the reason why Mr. Gums did that is because he's trying to protect Cleet from it not working out. So he sees Cleet as this.
But he ain't had nothing.
It doesn't matter.
He didn't work out.
He didn't.
It's different. It's different. My thing is.
Look.
But my thing is, it's different when both parties have nothing because you start with nothing, so there's nothing to claim.
There's litigation.
There's nothing to claim.
There's nothing. Nothing was to be claimed.
I agree. But where the thought came from was, I need to protect my son in case this don't work out. Cleet wasn't thinking this ain't gonna work out. Even if Cleet had the money that he was dreaming for.
Substitute teaching earnings.
I put the man bitch all like that.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow. I told you, boy, that's the queen of the South, baby.
She the queen of shade. Queen of shade.
Go ahead, jump in, Merlot.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Prenup all day.
Thank you.
All day. I agree with Sabrina. Like, if I already had this money and we get married, I'm not thinking that if we get divorced or whatever, you're not trying to think of the downfall.
No.
Yeah.
You're just getting prepared. Like Kim said, life insurance.
Part of the insurance.
This is the money I had before you.
That's
so
right.
if something happened and you go crazy, I'm leaving with my money.
But see, that's not what a prenup does. If you cheat, right? Like your agreement, you're trying to go into marriage. If a person cheats, they don't get no money. Period. Right? So
because if you bold enough to step out to make a mistake, then that's the consequences you deal with.
I understand, but you can divorce a person because they were unfaithful. You don't need a prenup to do that, right? A prenup is saying that no matter what, I'm gonna take my money. I could lose my mind. It don't matter what you do. It just matters what I do. If we get to the point where we are in a relationship and then I decide I want out, that person now has legally, they have access to the rest of my money. Prenup literally just says, this is my out clause. It does not protect the other person. They cheat, they do whatever. they're, look, bro, you got nothing. You get nothing. Like in the case of Jeff Bezos, when he grew his,
Amazon.
his Amazon fortune.
37 million or something like that. I mean, 37 billion.
Because she was
Yeah.
there when he had
She was there when he had nothing.
nothing. Thank you. So that justifies why I would take half of what you own because I was there when you started.
Sweetheart, what I'm saying is that he
just saying.
he wanted to step out. He didn't want to be married anymore, right? So a prenup would have prevented her from getting anything, right? She would have had absolutely nothing because the owner's decision, the person that has the wealth per se, was like, you know what? I'm just done with this.
But
it's not if the other person loses their mind. By the way, just want to clear that up.
But I also think that coming into the marriage that I could do whatever I want because it's my choice.
Right.
And it's mine.
So I'm coming into marriage giving myself an out clause. Cool. All right.
It's mine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like before when we talked about what a woman can do.
Says though.
Yeah, don't.
That's true.
It's not all like you take nothing.
Yeah,
It's all about
that's
that.
not all.
Different,
And everything could be
criteria.
negotiable. If we do, it could be said in the prenup that if you
We're gonna let Melandi finish her point.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all get kind of.
I apologize.
Get kind of
No,
strong
you're
on
good,
it.
you're good. So
this,
I thought, like,
this what you wanted, open for discussion, right?
Absolutely.
Okay then. Okay.
Everybody
Okay.
discuss it though.
All right. Well, I'll be quiet.
She gonna jump in.
So isn't there like
Absolutely.
different clauses in the prenup that you can
Yes.
agree upon? So of course I wouldn't sign one if it was like
Hold on now. She said she gonna be quiet. It made the very first time.
Welcome to my life.
I love it though. I don't got no problems with it. I just want to make sure everybody get a chance to speak.
Hey, I think there are two themes that are really prevalent right now. Notice that all the females are saying yes.
No, not all.
Not all,
No.
but most are saying yes to a prenup. And that goes to the misogynistic society that we live in. Historically, women have got the short end of the stick.
Yes.
They would stay home, raise the
Stay-at-home
kids,
moms.
daddy go out, and because at times
home
in
the
history,
bacon.
he was the only one working. His name was on the mortgage. His name was on the auto lease.
Yeah.
He had all the finances. And when he left,
He took
left
it
the
all.
woman
So they had
high
nothing.
and dry.
With the kids.
With the kids. She got to move back in with her parents with
And
the
the dog.
kids.
Yeah.
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 So historically, women have got the short end of the stick. They have been wronged.
Right.
So that's why there's a common thread. And women say, no, we need to protect ourselves. And they have a right to feel that way because history has shown they've got shafted.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. And the second is value. Societally, we don't value marriage anymore. Like it once. I can't even say like it once was, but
Preach.
like it should be.
Yeah.
So marriage has no value. But what we do value
Yeah.
is the almighty dollar. That's what we value.
See?
So right now, economic stability and finances are placed at a premium. And so that's why when I go into a marriage, is my marriage worth more or is this money worth more? 'Cause if no, I'm worried about this money because in society I can leverage more. I am more. My worth is more based on the amount of money that I have, and that's societally. That's how we view.
Yeah.
We view everything through the lens of finances, and that's what capitalism breeds. So you are measured. You are given worth. You're given value by the amount of money you have in this society. So that's, to me, those are the two pillars that I think that are really echoing right now. And until there is a reformation of marriage, now as believers, we should have a foundation of what we see marriage as, and we know how marriage should be. But again, I agree with everything everybody was saying. Nobody was saying nothing that was wrong.
Right.
If two people agree to a prenup, terrific.
Right.
But at the same time, in today's society where we place so much value on money, if I am in today's society and I'm wealthy and someone has approached me who's not, in today's society, the first thing that's going to pop up,
It's
they after
prenup.
my money.
Yep.
They after my money because that's what we value most. We don't value love
Relationship.
or marriage. No.
Family.
Yeah, no. We value the money. And that's a byproduct of the system that we live in. That's me.
I like it, man. That's the perfect segue to my next question that I have for you.
Yeah, bro, prenup? Y'all got prenup? Yeah, we don't either.
Nah, man.
None of us got a.
I never believed in them. I believe that if you make the decision to say yes,
You said
and
yes.
you've made the decision to say yes. I'm not for if I got millions and I marry someone just because she looked good. That was a stupid decision.
Really dumb.
Your decision was based off of your lust.
Yeah.
Not off of your, not off of your
Intelligent
spirituality,
decision,
of your intelligence or conversation, getting to know this person. So you should have done all of that pre-work before you got your prenup.
Yep.
So that's my decision, man. I don't believe in it because for me, money is not everything. It's great to have, but if you came into it and you took half, I can make another half quick because that's how I got it in the first place. So money doesn't mean anything to me like that. So that's my opinion.
Yep.
But speaking of the finances, I have a scenario. This is something that actually happened to a person that I know. I didn't bring it up to my wife because I didn't want her to give, I ain't want her to have her opinion already out. But say your spouse stows away, your wife or your spouse is stowing money away to the tune of $500 a month.
Ooh.
And this has been going on
Y'all making
for
good money
3
doing those
years.
You don't know.
And you don't know because they have a secret checking account. Now, you check the account. There's no discrepancies in there. That no money has been taken out. So it's not for cheating, but it's just specifically for saving. What is your first reaction?
He found my account.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Depending on
man.
like if it's just
Just all
specific for
depends.
saving, like if
it's
is
just
this wife over the finances?
Unless they
That's why he
lying.
don't know that
Great
this
job,
They
Listen.
lying saying it is for saving.
because this husband don't even know the money. He not even.
If the money's available, I'm like, woo, hey, good
Yeah,
job.
Yeah, if
Who
it's
made
like
you do
for
that?
savings, because
Yeah.
like maybe the wife is the budget of the money, and she's like,
So
I
if
know
I ain't
because if
gotta-
he sees it, he gonna spend it, so I
Yeah.
need to put this away. Then yeah,
Well, I think it can happen both ways because I think so. So I'll take us for example. So when we budget to pay for priorities, bills, and such and such and so. So then you have this other set of the money where it doesn't really have any allocation. You have an amount that you save. So if you have this pot that doesn't have any allocation whatsoever and it's kind of sitting, if there is one of the two of the spouses that decides, okay, that's just sitting, but I'm going to take $500 from there and put it over here in another account that I'm just holding to the side, then there's a way that he would know. How would he know? Because priorities are being taken care of. Savings are over here.
So what's the purpose of that? What's
The
purpose
other
of doing
part
that?
of that money, say for example, if we're just going on vacation or an emergency happens around the house and you need to fix something, you've got a set aside amount of money that really does not have a true purpose for any sake right now because you're making good money. So you can have, if I were to do it, we can have 15 different accounts. But instead, I choose to separate the money in different ways where everything is already set aside for certain purposes. So if there's a pot that doesn't necessarily have a true designation, it is easy to pull from that pot and put it over here and not say anything about it.
Well, my question is more along the lines of, would you feel like your trust has been violated? Because this is a secret account. They've been stowing money away. So you've probably had situations where things were a little tight and you might have said, we need to do this, we need to do that. And this person has been stowing this money away.
Now, if things are tight and you don't have budget to put in different places, then yeah, that's different.
So,
Yeah,
so
that's
Because
right.
there should be money set aside that
think-
nobody knows about.
So for me personally, I like, like especially with my spouse, if she knows me, then her doing that, I wouldn't be offended by it because I think she knows my tendencies and she's doing that based off of my tendencies. Like if I see it, we're going to use it. I think sometimes when you're tight, you get more creative and you solve a problem, another way,
Right.
Than dipping into that money. Now you look back,
Exactly.
you're like, wow, we want to do this. Now we have money to do this. I would have just used that money,
Right.
just to solve the problem when I could have got creative and solved it another way. So I think in a tight situation, it's like when you're tight, it's an opportunity to be creative, and it isn't always dipping into the pot. Because I think if you can put yourself in a scenario where you have a pot and you're building it, that's a great thing. So for me personally, if Kim were to do that, boy, I'd be so happy. I'd be like, first I'd be like, how you did this? Then I'm like,
right.
then my mind started racing on what we can do with it.
But what if she never told you?
That's what I'm saying. But she would do that.
No,
based
like
off of-
never ever told you.
But
And
she would
then,
have to tell
but
you.
then right, but what happened in my case is
just
I
asking.
never ever told you, but the kids are going to college and be like, oh, how are we gonna pay for Destiny?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
already got it.
Yeah. So look, man,
I've been doing this for years.
I'm gonna tell you straight up.
I'll be happy. Boy.
I think if it's
Shoot,
like a good intention like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Another
But, yes,
baby.
but if you like hiding it like,
Right.
this is my escape plan, just
Right.
that's a totally
a-
different
that's totally
conversation.
But we never know. You never know in a relationship what the intention is. Like we can't ever it's especially like I'm telling y'all straight up. Sabrina hides money from me all the time, all the time. I don't care. I unequivocally trust this woman with our money.
Yeah.
Like I'm in marriage.
Look at her
Like, there is
Because he's like clean. He'll see it. He'll spend it.
there is no reason at all.
It's the truth.
There's no reason at all what I would even. It wouldn't even. The thought wouldn't even pop into my head. Oh, she's stealing because she's trying to get out.
Yeah,
Right, because
exactly.
it depends on your relationship,
Yeah, exactly.
your trust,
Yeah.
and what you know your
But
relationship.
he has access
is.
to all the accounts.
But I don't.
This is a secret account.
No, so she has an account that I have access to, but I don't ever go and look. I don't.
He don't ever
like,
think to ask or look, so I just don't say anything.
And it's like, for me, she'll come up just like Cleet in the scenario she said. I'd be like, okay, we need to pay for this. All right, how we gonna do it? She'd be like, oh no, I got it. I'm like, oh praise God, that's
Yeah.
it. There's no thinking like, oh, well, what you doing over there? What?
Right.
No,
When you have
not
to put
It's
there,
the
something's
trust.
right.
Not at all. 100% trust. The only way that it would break trust for me is if she came up and told. She would have to tell me this to my face, babe. I've been stealing money. I'm getting ready to leave you.
Yeah.
With this money that I've been stealing. Because
Yeah, it's the motive.
every other scenario, I'm going to think that she's doing this for the betterment of our family.
Right.
good.
Now what's different is if we come up to a point where we're about to lose our house.
Yes, and she
And we
ain't
supposed to be
saying
paying the
that.
mortgage, and we
like-
lose our house, but then I find the stash.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Later,
different.
then now we got
Now we got a
problems.
stash for a new house.
Anybody who can
Right?
stash money like that at that level ain't gonna let the house go into foreclosure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're being
That's what I'm
responsible.
saying.
They're being
If
responsible.
they're responsible, and if the stash is for the right
if it ain't for
reason.
no weird.
Cleet,
Yeah.
Cleet just told me the other day, he was like, babe, what if I was like an undercover millionaire and I
Told
just
him
was,
for Wakanda. What if I'm?
I had to wait these 10 years just to see if you was really for me. I'm
Oh
like,
gosh.
ooh.
Yeah, I actually that all the time.
I'm angry,
Ooh.
but I'm mad,
Yeah.
and I'm happy.
Yes.
All at the same time.
I don't think my wife would care. I'll be hiding millions.
That's a good
of that.
question,
We
though.
get
Think about it. What
You
if
get it
you-
now.
All these tight times.
Coming to a,
You get it now.
Let's ask Sabrina. Would you care?
So it's a coming to America scenario, right? I'm like a prince from.
Well, he's down with the
Aladdin.
I was like, oh yeah. So, but true, right? Let's say coming to America situation, right? I'm a prince. I got money, but I don't tell you. And I'm talking about like 10 years in. We've been married for
That's
10
a long
years.
time. See, coming to
That's
America
a
was only like a month.
I'm talking about 10 years.
It's a month I didn't know you were a
But
prince.
when I tell you, we talking billions.
But why wait to 10 years?
Because I had to make sure you were right.
That was
No.
tradition. That was customary. You got to wait 10 years.
Look.
I would. What I'll say, I would be angry. I would be hot. Don't talk to me for like a couple of days, but then I'm not gonna leave you because I know we about to.
Look.
Hey, dog.
She gonna be like, don't
Give me-
yeah, let's work.
No, I'm gonna tell you exactly. My wife will be upset for maybe about 24 hours until it kicks in that
Send me
I
to a
can now
hotel, let me
spend this
debrief.
money.
I can.
Now,
I
when-
need to
once it
Penthouse
clicks-
suite, let me debrief.
Once-
and then
once
I'll
it
come
clicks-
back.
You said a billionaire. I would quit my job.
No.
Put on my 2 weeks notice.
Like once it clicks that I can spend this money, everything is just like
2 weeks.
She done.
You had me. You had
They know.
me. You had me over here suffering for 10 years.
You
Yes.
forget about them last 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
That
you.
thing goes
All
away
this
quick.
forgot. All this forgot.
What, we got 10 years of
Especially, wait. Especially if a good reason is given.
10 years.
All I can envision is like, I wanted us to learn some good values together. I wanted us to learn how to go through. I wanted us to learn
But
how
10 years, though,
to
10 years.
survive.
Look, you will forget about 10 years in an instant.
So I hope you
I'll
tell
just
me that
look at it
next
and be
year,
like,
so it'll
okay,
be
what's
10
the account?
I know.
That'd be
10
great.
years.
I hope you tell me that next
So
year.
you got about how many months to get some money?
Get them right now.
That's I know for me, and she was a billionaire, wouldn't care at all. It goes to the same account, babe. You know what?
Character. Those 10 years Bill character.
Very good.
Spend this money.
You know what? We've been through the test of time. Everything is good. I don't even
Straight.
remember those bad times.
Straight.
10 years of bliss.
Look,
10 years of bliss.
We just, now it'll just be a case of we just need to know how to double it.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's just
That's so
That's good.
That's funny. So now, speaking in that same scenario, when it comes to the finances and stuff like that. I've seen some of these multi-millionaire people and a lot of their relationships end because of this certain situation that I'm about to ask y'all. And that question is, do you think that taking vacations alone is okay?
What?
Like just by yourself?
Just by yourself.
Like just by
Yeah,
yourself?
alone, by
Like
yourself.
nobody-
Just by yourself or with your girls or with your friends, stuff like that? Do you think that it's okay?
Okay, those are two different things. You
Yeah.
said by yourself,
yourself.
but with your girl, those are two
Yeah, it's two
different
different
Because there's some
scenarios.
accountability
It's
in
really
the other
not.
ones. Yes, there is.
Yo, no, there is.
Yes,
All
there is.
right,
Yes,
okay.
there is.
So let me. All
Accountability.
right, I'm gonna talk first.
By yourself?
First of all, by myself.
You could be out here, boy.
Don't be by yourself.
You could do whatever you want, boy. If you can lie good.
Again, from a personal accountability standpoint, never taking a trip by myself. Don't trust myself by myself. Straight up. Secondly, I don't take guy trips, right? Because there's nothing that me and my boys can do for an
That's
extended.
what my point was.
Well, this is for guys, but I believe in girl trips, right? I believe in, especially if those girls are around the same teaching as you, and they got all your girls got to be married, right? First of all, they got to be around the same teaching, and I have to approve of your girls. Go.
What about single cousins, single sisters?
No. Well, single sisters maybe. Single cousins, no. Single cousins be dumb. They just be going out doing their own thing.
Tell us how you really feel.
And
Brother
nah.
and sister could be the same way.
Maybe, but still, and honestly, like I said, the third part of it was I gotta vet that person. I have to trust that person is not going to negatively influence you in some way. If they're going with the group that's like the majority of you guys are, going to do the right thing. I know that if Kim goes on a trip with Sabrina's never doing anything crazy, right? Because either Kim will stop her, she'll do whatever she got to do, right? I can trust that there are other people, all y'all in this room. If Sabrina's like, I'm going on a trip with y'all. What am I worried about? What y'all gonna do? But there are other people who are associates that if she's like, babe, I want to go on a trip with them, I might question a little bit. But after questioning and praying with the Lord, if I got a piece about her going, I trust my wife, man. I don't trust myself, and I don't want my wife to trust myself, but I will trust her. So recap: no alone trips, no dude trips. The longest dude trip I'm gonna go on is probably like 18 hours, and then I'm gonna be back. Whatever it is, and then she could go.
Dave and Buster's.
Bro, I have to be together for about 12. It's like, what we doing? Like,
What about work trip?
work trip? Oh, okay, a work trip. I would.
Vacation.
Yeah,
You
it's
had
not
a
a
couple.
vacation.
You had a couple work
Yeah.
trips.
Okay, I was about to say.
I have gone on work trips by myself.
Okay.
And I'm talking with my wife probably about 70% of the time in which I'm there.
I mean, how do you go on vacations by yourself though?
Yeah, I don't understand
It's
that.
like a lonely ride.
If you're married,
If you're married, that's a problem.
Right. I
How
mean,
do
if
you
you're
go by
married,
yourself?
if you're
I don't
married,
understand
and
that.
regardless
You're
if you
not by
have
yourself.
children or not,
You are not
it's
by
just, You
yourself.
don't
Of
go
course you're
on
not by
vacation
yourself.
by
That's the
yourself.
problem.
That's the problem.
You going to meet somebody?
Because a lot of people say that they need, I need some
Space,
me time. And,
Most people
I mean,
Not by
no. Just think about it.
Debrief.
Y'all be like, "Hey, Al, where Adrian? Oh, she went to Paris. Who she went with?
by herself.
By herself.
She
Doing what?
Yeah, doing what?
Shit, by herself.
Idris
Doing
Elba
what?
with her.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Man.
I
Get out of
don't-
here.
Don't even sound right.
I don't believe in alone trips, and I don't
Yeah.
believe in. I mean, I know dudes that go on guy trips, man. It's like, look, when I went on guy trips before I was married, we only had one purpose. I cannot see that changing. Like, we're not going, bro. This gonna be some brotherly bonding, bro. We're gonna stop. Stop. I don't. I just don't do them. You do them again. Preference, y'all preference, but nah, not for me.
No.
Yeah. I just, oh man, this just happened yesterday. I was,
You went on a dude
about
trip,
to
man?
no, my
about the dude trip.
brother's turning 40 this year. So I'm drilling. I'm like, man, what you trying to do, man? You got to do it big. He's like, Vegas. Woo! All right, let me change the subject. Hey, man, we talk about the finals, man.
Listen, boy, Vegas was still being with my wife walking down the street.
I'm like, what? What is this? I said,
But let's just think about
can't.
the potential destinations for guy trips, right? Vegas, right?
Cancun.
Cruises. Costa Rica,
the island.
the islands. Okay, so what do we think? Notice we didn't say we're going to go visit Washington D.C. and go to the National Black Museum.
Tallahassee.
Oh Jesus! You know what I mean?
That's an amazing trip.
Yeah. That's two colleges within like 5 mile radius of what it. It's just not. I just don't see it as a good idea at any case.
Guys don't do good stuff together.
We're complete idiots together.
Just get in trouble.
We're either gonna get in a fight. Somebody's gonna end up cheating. Or somebody's going to do something where we all got to question, why are we friends with you anymore?
What are we going
Or
to be
end up in
doing?
jail.
Like, what's on the agenda? What are we doing?
See, women can get together and they can sit in, swimsuits and stuff and laugh and talk.
Yeah.
And you standing around me with your shirt off. And you looking at, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Put your clothes on, dog. What are you talking about? I don't need you to talk to me with your shirt off.
I don't know what we're going to be doing. Like, I just have no, I don't know what to do with my with your hands.
You don't do anything good.
It's never
Oh, what y'all want to do? Y'all want to go to a movie?
I don't
Okay,
know
we
what
just
to
went
do.
to a movie. Okay. What
We're
else
not
you
going to
gonna
the
do?
movie together. We're going to take up 2 rows.
There's
because
nothing good
everybody's
you can
gonna
do
be
with guys.
Y'all gonna
have
be
2 seats
dipping in each
between
other's
us.
popcorn.
So maybe, I just thought about this because I mentioned this in our text group. Super Bowl trip, right? That's the
But you
only
could be
thing.
drinking and doing.
I don't drink.
Oh boy.
Somebody let it slip.
Came out.
Wow.
Too late. It's recorded.
Came out.
Yeah, that would be the only thing. Maybe one sporting event. One sporting event at, and it would have to be.
That can't be a
Or
guy trip
each
because
of
I
the
would be
guys
there.
have
That's what
their
I'm gonna
own
say,
room.
man. My wife coming.
I'm coming to the Super Bowl. You
Do
ain't
each
gonna
of the
leave me
guys
out.
have their own room on that
saying.
on
All
that
you-
kind of trip?
You
Like,
can't
what
leave me out of
happens?
Super Bowl
like,
trips. That's not fair.
I said maybe.
I got
Put this out
married
there.
for
All
a
you can
reason,
do
man.
is
You
sin
can't leave me out on
with
Super Bowl
other
trips.
guys.
That's
what I'm
it right
saying,
there.
That's it. Ain't it's
I
just
got married for a
there.
reason,
know what's
bro.
going on.
And it's midnight and I'm horny.
That's
I'm-
right.
Because if you go to the Super Bowl,
That's
what
trouble.
happens when you get back to the hotel?
You saying
In my
midnight,
mind, just
you get
sleep,
horny.
but it would be just
Now the big freaks at the hotel.
Exactly.
Let me tell you.
Prostitutes
Bro,
going on. Yeah, man.
Let me tell
in my
you.
mind, I was thinking Miami since that's the next one, and I'm going
Miami.
to sleep. No, listen. I'm about to sleep at my mom's house. I'm not
you
going.
don't have to.
I'm not going to the hotel. I'm
It's
coming
not-
watching the game.
We
and going
both
to-
going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, baby.
And
we
first
both
of all,
going.
I'm
That's
not
right.
sleeping in no queen size bed with another man.
Oh, absolutely not.
Move your foot, man.
If we ain't in, listen, I
big
need-
hairy
I
foot
need
off me.
Shack bed or better. That's the only way I'm laying with a grown man. And that means you on the whole other side of the room.
you on the
Yeah. Shack bed, what, 15 feet or something like that?
yeah.
Nah, bro.
Nah, even
Nah,
with that.
you ever,
No
if another
vacation,
man
dude.
touch me with his crusty heels? Nah, bro. I don't get down like that, man.
So this is
So again,
it's nothing good, guys.
no alone trips, no guy trips. Girl trips are perfectly fine as long as we approve the people who you're
Company.
going with.
Well said, Doc.
I concur.
I agree. I agree with Wayne.
You agree? Babe, how you feel about
I thought I already said.
She's trying to go to Paris. With Idris, I'm trying to go there.
No, I don't know.
All
I want to do everything with my family, so my mindset is just not there.
Yeah.
I can't see because once I'm there, the whole time I'm like, oh, they would have loved to see this. Oh, he would have.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I am too. Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
typically like doing things apart because it's
Yeah.
an experience for me every time I do it. Now, if I'm going out with the girls, yeah, that's fine. We'll
you're
do
with
that.
people, yeah.
But I'm with people. I would never do anything separate. And then if I do go out with the girls, I probably come home and mimic the same trip and do it
Yeah.
again with my family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't ever see myself not doing
I'm
anything.
like
together.
what Brian said, man. I typically, everywhere that I go, I like to bring my wife with me. And that's whether it's a short trip or a long trip because I'm a freak by nature.
He don't have a choice.
So
Come on, Bert.
when my wife,
Talk about it, bro.
when my wife
You a
wants
Neff
to
Bert?
choice.
You're a Neff Bert.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
See, my wife would tell you now, one of the most annoying things that I do to her is when she walk in front of me, she already know where my hand going.
Yeah, same thing.
Straight up
Come on.
credit card swipe. man. Every time. She can't stand it.
Can we not?
Credit
Can
card
we not be
Credit
at
card
church
swipe, man. I'm right up
in the
there.
middle of worship?
credit card
I'm
swipe.
highly
is a
attracted to my wife. I'm not attracted to dudes. So if you're in front of me, the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to punch you in the back of the head because you shouldn't be walking in front of me. Because we're all dudes here. Why do you feel
man.
like I need to see your backside? So that's what my thought process is. When we get to our resting destination, who can I hold? Mm-hmm. And if it ain't my wife, we're probably gonna fight the rest of the night. There's nothing to talk about. Why are you talking to me at midnight?
Yeah, we got nothing to
Talk
talk about, bro.
what we gonna do tomorrow, man.
Yeah, bro. We
First
got
of all,
nothing
I
to talk
don't wanna
about.
hear
This is
your voice.
exactly why guys sin because you don't want you
Idle time.
You're like I need to go find fulfill this need.
Yeah.
So you gonna go
Have
go
conversation.
Tell us what you
and,
do, Cleet.
out. Huh?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know what you're asking. I don't go on guys trips. So.
He don't go by himself.
Yeah, nah, man, I can't. So it's like I said,
we,
nothing
it's
good. can
whack.
happen.
We're talking about the
It's whack.
going on guy trips. So, so from a female perspective, y'all think that it's cool to go on double trips, or if it's a group, things like of that nature. Now, I know Wayne was saying more of who's going with you, but how do y'all feel as far as, do you feel like you should be trusted, whether it's your thought friends or not?
First of all, I ain't got no thought
Say it again,
friends.
babe.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
you
have-
did. You just didn't know it.
No, I don't have thought. No, we talk about right now. I don't have thought friends. Okay, and then
Did.
when I did, we all were single. I wasn't married.
Right.
Still doesn't make them not a thought.
Just want to say that.
I know. Honestly, from a female perspective, I think a girl trip is very fine because I think that us as women, we do a lot of work for the kids. And
The guys don't do no work for the kids at all.
We don't do
None.
anything.
None.
We don't do anything.
we do a lot. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Say what you say.
Just say what you say.
What you say. And I think as girls, we don't have to. We can go somewhere, do nothing, and still be happy.
Okay. Well, since we were talking about having the type of friends that you have, as we all
What kind of type of friends you say Sabrina got, bro?
thought ones.
I don't have thought friends.
Not now.
That's right. Fix it. Okay.
Okay, I fixed it. Not now. But you did before.
Oh my God. Carry on.
No, I'm saying that as we all transition into deciding that this is the person that we're going to pursue, this is the person that I've decided that I want to make my wife or my husband. Talk about some of the difficulties that you faced when you were challenged with leaving your group of friends behind, or whether it's a family member behind, and what some of the issues that you faced, whether it was mentally or whether it was just straight up conversational situations. Just just kind of discuss some of the perils that we all had to face them at some point. Maybe not Adrian.
None. I was about to say, zilch.
I'm gonna make this real simple. I ain't trying to live with no dude. So it's like, bruh, my chick here, hey, y'all can have this video game, y'all can have all this stuff.
How we are.
No, it was easy for me, man. And they, they be like, oh, bro.
Oh, cake daddy.
Yeah, that's right. I'm about to give.
So basically, what you're saying is,
Get this cake, bro.
we were talking about this other show about fornication. That's what it makes sense.
That's where I was at the time. I'm sorry, man.
Bro, stop trying to judge me.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
it was pretty easy for me and Clee because once we started dating, initially when we met, we literally were together every day.
Yeah.
So
Live together?
no, I said we were together. I said we were together every day.
Leave that alone. This ain't about that. You leave that alone. Okay? I'm a believer. Okay?
Did Kim just say no?
I said we were together every day.
Okay, but y'all didn't live together?
Well,
You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that.
College. Okay?
I mean, in college, he did stay the night over the apartment. Me and Sabrina stayed together.
He stayed the night.
That he lived.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that was that was a little portion, but that wasn't. That wasn't towards the
We
beginning.
might have a why do we get married moment right now.
No, but I was saying at the
42.
beginning when we first met, we literally we were together
all the time?
every day. We would get together.
Nope.
Man, I mean, this is to get married.
Just get to the point.
Oh my! He didn't even get his point.
You made an intelligent decision, babe. Okay. To get married, I mean, I had to go through a lot. And I basically followed the scripture to a T. I leave your family, cleave to your wife. My family was really upset. My boys, some of them said, hey, man, you're doing a good job. Some of them were like, bro, maybe you should wait. Because in case anyone doesn't know, I got married and didn't tell my family. So it is what it is. I 100%. That's why, like, when you talk about marriage and stuff, like, y'all understand. I'm in this. I gave up, like, a lot of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I got it all back and more. But I gave up a lot for this marriage. And when I made this decision, this wasn't something that I came to lightly. So in any case, at any point in time, oh, man, you going? Yes, I am out. See y'all later because I have an appointment tonight, and it's not with you. But that's another reason why I said we can't take guys trips because we all have that. Like all of my boys have the same mindset. Like we can be vibing for as long as we can, and when we get to that point, it's like, all right, y'all, gotta go. So
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, it's my turn? Oh, well, thank you.
So silly.
For me, I think when I got married, some of my friends were still single, so they understand that why I didn't have time for them. And I was like, it ain't up to you. I'm married now, so... And then at the time, they didn't kind of understand of why you have to ask your husband first before you kind of do stuff or, like, go somewhere. You have to tell him. So... But then people don't realize, until they get married, they got to do the same thing. And they be like, oh, but they don't, it's not like they don't come back and be like, oh yeah, I didn't understand that at the time. Yeah. So they don't admit that. But then you just got to suck it up and just put up with, just a person being in two different places. Yeah. So I think at the time my friends didn't quite understand, like, you're married and just everything that deals with marriage. Mm-hmm. And I also... another scenario where, like, we had friends that moved away and we got married and they understand when we came home, we have time for them. No, I ain't come home to spend time with you. Mm-hmm. My husband and I, we're going to do what we want to do. And then I'm going to spend time with my family and I'm heading back. So we got backlash for that until they got married and had kids. Now they feel like, oh, wow, I ain't got time for nothing. Oh, so now you see how it is. So it's just, at the time, I don't think people were mature enough to understand until they were actually in the situation or they got married or the season of their lives changed. Yeah. So that was my experiences.
I'm with everybody. I had no issues. Once me and Brian got together, we were together all the time, just like Kim said. So, and my friends I didn't have friends that were like already out there anyway. So most of my friends were already in church. They were already, even if they were single, they were happy for me. You know what I'm saying? So awesome. It wasn't a problem. Like, oh, why you always with Brian? I never heard any of my friends tell me that. Why you always with Brian? It was just like, he's treating you good. That's all that matters. Yeah. So, and then even when we got married and some were still single, it's like, as long as you're happy, you're good. So it wasn't a problem because I didn't have those type of people anyway in my life that were out there. So it wasn't a problem to shed friends. So cool. The friends I have now, I'm still friends with before. So,
but let me make my point clear. Some people were at church that I was friends with and still didn't quite understand. Yeah. The marriage covenant and just time, because when I was single, I had plenty of time. Oh, I can go here with you. I can do this. And then when I tell you, no, I'm not going today. No, I'm not doing that. No, I got to check with him. Why you got to check with him? Because I'm married. Like, I'm not going to check with you.
Is that your daddy?
So I just want to clear that up.
Yes.
Okay.
No, ditto. Same as my wife said. 100%.
That's awesome, man.
I never had a problem.
Well, I had all the problems.
He did. I never had the problem because I think when I lived at home, I had friends, but it was never to the point where I gave that much time. Mm-hmm. So we didn't spend a whole lot of time together to where there was a detachment situation. And then when I moved away, I came here and I was here for 2 years. I was in school for 2 years, so I didn't get the opportunity, or I didn't make it happen, I should say, to attach to people like you would when you come in as a freshman. I came in as a junior. Right. So I had my own life. I was very mature. I didn't have time for the foolishness. So I didn't deal with it. And I didn't connect with people to that extent to where when I now am dating, which I started dating him almost a couple months after I got there, maybe 6 months after I got there, I didn't have anybody to account to. I was doing my own thing.
And this is just for friends, right? or family too.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on if you were close with family and, like if you had a
Even
crazy
family,
cousin or uncle or something.
I always did my own thing.
Yeah, I experienced it. I think the thing that was more tough for me was family more than friends. Like I said, the friend scenario was just like, I'm going to be with my girl, right? For family, it's one of those things where I was more involved in college. My early years of college, I would go back home and I would try to, I guess my goal in life was to come back and try to play a role, a fatherly role, that kind of thing with some of my younger siblings. Mm-hmm. So as I got married and then started having kids, my role changed. So, but I still, to this day, I still get like, oh man, you don't have time for us, yada, yada, yada. I still get those kind of comments. And it's tough. It's tough because you want, especially with a family member, a younger sibling, whatever, you want to be able to influence their life. But on the same note, you have a new responsibility. You have a new family that you've just started. So, I get those comments, and the way I deal with it, I stick to my moral belief, my scriptural belief. And it's like, I had to leave my family and cling to my wife. And now I have kids that I have to basically provide teach them life. Basically, I have to teach them life, and that's a full-time job. So, I do try to make time as much as I can to impart wisdom, impart finances or whatever have you into family as I can. But yeah, man, it's at the end of the day, that's not my assignment. I can't, and I had to understand that the hard way, because it's like you feel like I grew up with these people, I got to help out, and you do to as far as you can, but you got a family that you got to support. So
yeah, for me, man, it was a lot tougher than all the rest of y'all because I came up at UCF. I played football, so everybody was basically it was a brotherhood. Mm-hmm. So once I decided to get married, those calls didn't stop. Hey, bruh, what's up? We going out tonight? So I'd be like, yeah, let's do it, man. Let's go out. And so it would continuously cause problems back and forth, And
this is after you got married?
Yeah, this was after I got married, and like I say, we were still in Orlando at that time. So all of my friends were still there, and so they respected the marriage, but they were just like, "Look, bro, you coming?" And I'd be like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it tonight, man. Bert, come on, dog. Let me see, bro.
No, there was no let me see. There was let me get an argument started so that I can go ahead and do what I want to do.
But yeah, man, it took me a little while, and then y'all got for the majority of y'all were already in church and doing things. Yeah, learning on a day-to-day basis. Even though you were still young and you were you wanted to live a little bit, I was just living. You know what I mean? So I wasn't attending church. I wasn't trying to learn anything. I wasn't trying to do nothing. It was like, listen, I need you to shut your mouth. But like I said, once I made a decision, it was easy. It was easy after that. I could easily, like my friends to this day, they still call and be like, Bert, I'm coming in town, man. We need to link up. Let's go to the L house or the Wing house or something like that. I'll be like, nah, I'm good. So, how's everything in your life?
Yeah. Hey, bro, you want to go to the L house and catch a drink or some wings?
No. Not with my boys, because some of them are married and some of them are not married, but they still, they still living a lifestyle that is not conducive to me being the husband that I need to be at the house that I live. So
gotta come home.
I had to make that decision, and it was, like I said, it was easy once I made the decision. I think the ultimate goal is make your decision and stick with it, and that's the way that's everything in life. Once you make a decision and you go through with it, stick with it, and good things will happen. So for me, my lovely wife, my boy Diddy Rowe, Miss Merlot, the Queen of the South, Cleek the Geek, G-Dub, and of course the one and only Miss Sabrina. We out.